All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're laughing because this is our first podcast that we are ever going to be attempting to do. And so we're going to call this podcast tentatively B because we're starting out with Blair Smith and I am Enoch McKee, so Blair and Enoch make B. Let me see. Me and Blair met in college, Georgia Tech.
Right.
Let me see. I graduated nuclear engineering. He graduated biology. He is now technically Dr. Smith, because that's how amazing he is. But let me let him toot his own horn a little bit.
So we met at Tech, but we also met during physics, which was one of my worst courses, and is still one of his best. so that was how our friendship kind of sparked. And then somehow we just kind of continued to hang out. Actually enjoyed spending time with each other, and for some reason when we talk, magic tends to happen. So
It does.
Just things that we didn't think about before, they seem to come out, and I know I'm a better person for it, so I thought that it would be a good idea to kind of share some of these conversations.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, the way I would describe Blair is he's the only person who's completely different from me, but the exact same as me at the same time. I don't get it. I don't try to get it anymore. It just works. So, So pretty much, so the disclaimer for this podcast is we're going to try to present topics and present them from a full-fledged spectrum of all different perspectives.
Right.
Because right and wrong is always going to be relative for most issues. And we want to find the truth that's going to come between the different perspectives and different opinions. So me and him are pretty good at, analyzing different opinions and finding the pros and cons for both of them. And, hopefully, we'll have some fun here.
Yep.
You listening will have some fun. And, anything else you want to say about that, Blair?
We're obviously probably not going to reach every single perspective possible, but
It's impossible.
we will be able to come to a wide variety of them, and specifically ones that we don't necessarily hold ourselves, but we can still weigh it in, and you guys may be able to glean a different look into something than you may have had before.
Very true. So with that being said, our first topic, the almightiest of topics that you're going to have to start a podcast with from two guys would be women. Yes, the elusive, mysterious women topic. I think we're just gonna kind of go with our criteria today.
Okay.
Like, what Blair likes in a woman, what I like in a woman. We're both too single as of this day podcast, so it's kind of like what we're looking for and what we're trying to seek in this world, and not able to find this easily, but then sometimes able to find easily because 2019, man, you're in a weird space with all these dating apps and all, just everywhere. I was speaking with Blair before this, just saying that right now we're at a time where we realize how beautiful people actually just are. Like the fact that you can just get this wide spectrum of people. Like you didn't know how beautiful people were in Cambodia, in Ghana, in Kentucky until you see all of these men and women that's just everywhere, and it's like, oh my God. And now we just have the platforms to be able to see this, and but we also can't be fooled by just the things that are in front of our eyes, because at the end of the day, when you're seeking somebody to be a mate, a spouse, all those kind of things, it has to be such a deeper connection than the ones your eyes are seeing. So
No doubt. And that's why we're going over criteria, because part of why anyone gets with anyone else is because they are physically attracted to them. But then there's the whole other realm of attractions that come about. And it's, at the end of the day, a mixture of all of them, the combination that really brings you together. And so I think that's why it's important to talk about both of them. I actually have another disclaimer to make, just because I feel like it's necessary. So when me and Enoch talk, we stay on track a lot of times, but sometimes we can get random, and
sometimes it means all the time.
We will do our best to kind of not deviate too far from the main topic and digress But I just want to give that warning that we will kind of venture off topic sometimes, but we will always come back. That I can guarantee. So, Enoch, what else do you have to contribute to the beginning of this?
The beginning of this? Okay. I'm thinking we need to start with a segment. We need to start with a segment of this podcast. This has kind of come to me. I want Blair to name his top 3 hottest girls in the movie, but not based upon just like, oh my gosh, they were like the drop dead beauty in the film. So we're like, no, just the top 3 women who did things for the protagonist that just made her just like beautiful. So yeah, I kind of put you on the spot there, Blair, but that just came to me and I was like, I think that's a great way to kind of look at our criteria.
Kate Beckinsale, Underworld.
Okay, why Kate Beckinsale, Underworld?
Because it's actually, so I have to say it's the whole Underworld series, right? And it's the development of Celine's relationship with Michael. Like, Celine has been a vampire for centuries, and Michael had basically just been born. So in reality, she's a cougar, and so that's how this starts off.
Cougars are pretty hot, you know,
especially they're vampires.
Exactly.
But so I think the point is, Michael kind of is an outsider with this, and when she first meets him, she doesn't think that he's anybody important. But somehow she's still like, her eyes deviate towards him as well. And then as time goes on, I think she finds that he's willing to fight for things that are mutually important to both of them. And as this series goes on, like at the end of the first movie, she ends up killing her mentor. And part of that was for selfish reasons, no doubt, because she ended up finding out that P had killed her entire family. So there's a little bit of bias there. But
there's some layers there, yeah.
But at the same time, Victor was about to kill Michael. And it was at that moment where she went into action and had to cut his head off, right? And then it keeps going. So, and part of that is like about probably commitment and consistency as well, because once you commit to an action, you tend to stay consistent with that action. And in that moment, she decided to fight for Michael. And then you have the whole second and third movies. And like, I think there's like the most recent one where you actually find out she has a daughter. And then in the second one, she fights another person where she, in her world, wouldn't have been able to beat him, right? Now she gets help in the end, which is how she does defeat him. But she was willing to go up against insurmountable odds to fight for someone she loved. That's amazing, in my opinion. Then in the film where she has a daughter, I say third film, but I'm not talking about Rise of the Lycans. I'm talking about the most recent one. Okay. Michael isn't even in that one, basically. Maybe he might be at it in the end, but the entire time she's like taking her daughter, leading through like different, villains, whatever, like in the story, to try to find Michael and to try to bring her family back together. That's what I want the woman. I want the woman that's going to fight through insurmountable odds, try to find a way so that we can come back and share love between each other.
So you hear that? All the vampires out there. Blair Smith is looking for you.
Exactly.
That's a good one. No, Kate Beckinsale was definitely really great. I think I'm about to steal one of yours. I know he's gonna. This one's gonna be on the list. Her name is, I want to say, it's like Elizabeth Cabaret from
Cuthbert, something like that.
Cuthbert, yeah, something like that. From but she's from the movie Girl Next Door.
Exactly.
So first of all, fantastic film.
In the background, both of us had we view this as a romance story, and both of us have loved this movie for the longest time.
That's why I knew that it was. I'm stealing it from him.
Right. All good.
So pretty much, you have this guy who's so focused on getting into college, making the grades, doing all the stuff that he's not actually living life. So what's the point of having all the accolades in the world if you can never utilize those accolades to do anything? and even names that utilize them to do anything but like to raise you to a greater, higher level, higher plane. And so then comes out of nowhere this girl who just happens to have been a former porn star, and she really opens up his shell to this new world. And within her opening up this new world, he starts to see a side of himself that makes him a better person, makes him a more adventurous person, but not adventurous and I'm just gonna do dumb things, even though he does do many dumb things in the film, but more so things that like he takes risks. And really with love, with life, it's all about the risk we take. If you want to calculate your life, you probably ask an 80-year-old, what were the best things in your life? It was probably something that him or her did that was risky. When you decide, hey, I'm gonna give my heart to somebody, that's a very risky thing because, we probably all who are listening to this have given a heart to somebody who didn't deserve it and had it broken. So definitely she was the type of character, type of woman who she brought out something in a person that they didn't know was there. So like, I always kind of look for that in somebody I'm willing to date, that I want you to bring out a side of me that is there, but I didn't even know was there, and it needs to, be given a microphone to sing for that moment. So, yeah, I gotta go with Elizabeth Cuthbert. We don't know her name exactly.
Sorry for screwing your name up.
Yes, if you listen to this podcast, sorry. So yes, that would be my number.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. It's seeing beyond what everybody else sees and seeing something that's beautiful in someone else.
Exactly.
That's what you want. Yeah.
All right. Next one, man. You got to
Okay. Let me see. I'm up to think of it here.
Come on, we watched a lot.
The first one just came.
It came. It was like Kate Vegas, though, man.
Exactly. Let me think. I'm still.
Do you need to pause because I say on my next one?
Yeah.
Go.
You know what? How about you go and then I'll catch up? Okay. Because I don't want to.
Okay. No. It's good. It's good. Just like give you some time to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this movie. I say that because I wanted to watch it with you when we were spent some time. We were in Grenada, but I don't think we were. It was called Boomerang.
Yeah.
You ever watch it? So Halle Berry and Boomerang. So essentially, Boomerang is the main character is Eddie Murphy, Marcus Graham, horrible playboy, dog of a character, who gets his comeuppance because he gets played by a girl, so he got everything he deserved. The Halle Berry character is a person that after he gets played, he's at his lowest moment. He pretty much gets to lose his job. He doesn't believe in himself with his art, with anything. He's just at a low point, and Halle Berry comes and she uplifts him at his lowest moment and realizes and really takes him to a new level with his art. And just really helps him kind of get out of this funk, get out of this shell, and like really expand himself. So we're all gonna go through ups and downs in life. And I think that the person who you choose to invest your heart in should be the person who can get you out of a funk, with ease almost. Like, I mean, that's how much, they should value that they see you at that even when you're at your worst, they still see you at your best. Like, so that's what their image of you doesn't change just because everything around you is now not screaming that, oh my God, he's amazing. Because at that moment, he was not amazing. But she still saw this man who was amazing, and she really
like that Marilyn Monroe quote.
Oh yeah, what's the quote?
If you can't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me
best. Yep. So that was So that was And plus, Halle Berry looks so good in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, whoo!
There's always that alternative.
There's always that alternative.
Yes.
Okay,
so my second one will be Deadpool.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan Reynolds.
She was also extremely hot in this movie. We're not doing it just based upon looks, but
it has a factor.
It does.
Right.
It does.
Okay, Ryan Reynolds, who is freaking hilarious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also has, very attractive visage, right? And great body, Okay, this isn't about Ryan Reynolds, so I'm gonna get off track.
Remember you said we take turns and we'll steer it back? Steer it back, Blair.
Digression time. Anyways, you have him who finds his match, really, who kind of exhibits a lot of the personality traits he does. He can actually give it back to him just as well as he did it to her, which is having that kind of dynamic, for one thing, in a relationship is, I mean, that's what I want. You know, you want someone to have the psychological like visibility of seeing you and kind of understanding what you're thinking without having to communicate it. You can be in a room full of people, and yet she's the only one that actually like really knows what you're thinking. Even if it's just like with a look of the eyes, or like with a twitch of like your face, right? Just she knows what that meant, but nobody else did. That's what I want. But so coming back to this, you have that relationship that's developing, and they're really enjoying each other. They're about to get married, actually, because they're falling for each other, right? And then all of a sudden he freaking collapses and goes to the doctor. He has cancer everywhere. And as a doctor, I'm going to say that that's not a good thing. Okay.
Really, that's your diagnosis?
Yeah, exactly. Not good. Anyways.
You gonna die.
Never mind. Okay, that's a different movie. Anyways. The only thing that she wants to do is fight, right? I guess, honestly, I keep saying that word, right? And I think that word probably has some powerful meaning to me. But even when Ryan Reynolds is like okay with dying, because he doesn't want her to see him in a weakened state, basically, but she loves him enough to want to be there for him through terrible times that he has no control over, right? He didn't choose this situation. And in the same way, there are many times in our lives where we don't choose the situation, but sometimes life just sucks. And life doesn't always suck. It can recover, but there are times when life just sucks. And what do you need more than anything else at that time? Support. Whether that's family, friends, but the support of a woman, and the woman that you love more than anything, that has a greater impact. And I think that's something that movie shows. Now, they took a very great deviation from that, right? So he goes and like, he gets cured of his cancer. So good for him.
He gained some other stuff though.
Yeah, he gained some other stuff. And then like they come back together and she slaps him, right? Because she's like, how dare you like do this without me? We are a team. That's what I want. I want team.
Okay, you made it tough for mine. I think I'm gonna try to steer away from just somebody who I thought was like completely just a drop dead beauty from a movie.
Sounds good.
Even though she still is a beautiful woman in real life, they tried to make her.
Yeah, he just insulted her just to let you know.
Yeah, no, but they did in this movie. They tried to make her look, you know, a little bit worse, even though she still looked quite beautiful in it. I'm gonna go with Zaria Dawson in 7 Pounds. So with her, like I said, she has a very weak heart. She needs a heart transplant. She's on a donor's list, you know, waiting any day. Like she has been diagnosed with something like, I want to say 3 to 6 months to live. Something very like, you're going to die soon. So your outlook is not positive. Like your heart is going to fail you. And when she meets the Will Smith character, she was so unafraid to be vulnerable with him. And I thought that was really powerful in her character. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, it's easy to be strong for somebody, but it's hard to be weak for them. Like, at least show your weakness. You know, just show that, you know, hey, I'm not okay. That this is, you know, not the things that, you know, this is not how I wanted my life to end. So there's like one particular scene in mind that I really love, and I love Will Smith's response, and I hope that I would have this response, you know, if, when my woman comes to me with her vulnerability, but she's I want to say they're in the field somewhere. I just had some kind of like picnic in the field, and she was just telling about like how, Will, you should have saw me when I was back in my day. Like I was beautiful, and the way he just looks at her is just like, it's really just saying like, pretty much shut up. You don't see how beautiful that you are now. Like, cause all he does is see her beauty the entire time. Like, he's really conflicted the entire story, in my opinion, because he meets her. Like he was ready to kill himself. Everything's going, but when he meets her, that he actually finds like a value of life.
Right.
But he knows that if he doesn't kill himself, well, I hope you have seen this movie. But
yeah, spoiler alert.
But he knows that if he doesn't kill himself, then she won't live. So it's like it almost gives it. It would not almost. It gives his sacrifice even more meaning,
right?
Because he fell in love with this person, and he still chose to want to die because he would rather her just be able to live happier with his heart inside of her. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful metaphor.
It is.
I love it. So yeah, so to digress from that, just like, I want a girl who can give me her vulnerabilities and be unapologetic about giving me your vulnerabilities. Because at the end of the day, what are we doing here if you can't give me your weakness and I can't help show you that that's not a weakness at all, but it's your greatest attribute?
Love it.
Yes.
Okay.
You got one more? You found it?
I got one more.
You got one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
It took me a minute, and I'm kind of deviating. It's not a movie. It's a series.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. Okay. I like it.
And I also like, if you guys haven't seen this yet, we're coming up with this on the spot right now. We haven't planned this out, which I think in a way makes it much more organic. Because we're not editing it. Well, I don't know. We might edit it, but at this point, right, we don't have intentions of editing it, and we're just kind of going with what comes to us spontaneously. So I think that's kind of a beauty thing too. I mean, from my perspective. Anyways, the next series is The Mentalist.
Yeah, I have not seen The Mentalist though. Okay,
yeah,
but okay, go for it. Spoil it all for me.
Okay, sounds good. And also, just background, I love anything that has to do with like psychology. So like there's certain series that are like very close to me, like The Mentalist or Lie to Me. Lie to Me is another like great series because it has to do with a lot like reading people and kind of seeing the intentions behind what they do. And then Bull's kind of like that too. So all of those series I've watched pretty much everything they have, and I'm still like, if they came out with another episode right now, I would go and watch it
immediately.
Like, we're gonna have to pause this. Anyways,
this patient pause. I have to watch The Mentalist.
But The Mentalist, okay. And so The Mentalist is honestly a different kind of love story because it takes them 8 seasons to really like be open enough with each other and act on what the feelings that have built up over 8 years. You have Agent Lisbon, who is constantly bending the rules for Jane because Jane makes his own rules, or he basically only believes in rules to a point of what he can accomplish with something or with someone. And I have to give a little bit of a spoiler on this. So Jane, his family was murdered by a serial killer, right? Like a notorious one named Red John, who like could not be caught, basically. And Jane is this genius who can sees people's intentions a mile away. Like he will find who did whatever crime the moment that he sees them, and he basically proves that they did it through the rest of the show. Whereas the cops that are with him are just trying to catch up the entire time to what he already came to a conclusion of in the beginning. But in a later season, like probably 7 or 8, I don't actually remember at this point, Jane finally kills the serial killer that killed his family.
Wow.
Okay. So that's loaded in itself, but we can come back to that at another point. Only after that does he really like allow himself to feel anything else, right? Because he was driven for that endpoint. After that, he was able to kind of let himself move on, and he was able to with Lisbon. And the thing that I love about Lisbon is she's willing to bend the rules for him. She's willing to honestly kind of bend her own moral code because she loves him. And that's from the beginning of the series all the way to the end. Whether it's obvious in the beginning or not, it becomes much more obvious as it progresses. But she is constantly defending him, right?
Yeah.
And that's two things that you want is we all have our own moral code. Sometimes it's by default, but we all have that. And I think one of the signs of really loving someone is the willingness to bend that moral code for them every now and then. Now, I'm not saying every day they do something wrong and you bend it. There's a imbalance in that relationship.
We're not Bonnie and Clyde here.
But the willingness to look beyond some of the less than honest things because you see the good that outweighs the bad, the person, right? I think that's incredibly beautiful. And always defending someone rather than seeing the things that are weak of them. It's okay to see the weak things, but when you do that, you have to defend it rather than taking advantage of it. So that's what I would say.
All right, The Mentalist. I'm binging it. This is my next show I'm gonna binge. Thank you for that. You just ruined my December.
Yeah.
So from that, since we each gave 3 characters, I think what's gonna be kind of fun is to see. I'm gonna try to see if from your 3 characters, I can kind of guess, really the overlaying themes that attracted to you to those characters, and you can try to see mine. So I feel like his was pretty easy. If we were listening, it's obviously the most blatant one was like fight. So I feel like, you just want a woman to fight for you. Like in your lowest, highest of moments, like be there, fight, we're a team type of fight. I feel like that was a very, that stood out with all 3 characters. But something that was a little more subtle that was standing out to me is like going against the norm. Then that's a bigger thing. So like the Kate Beckinsale character, I want to say the guy wasn't a vampire at the beginning. So she really got with a person who wasn't like her, and that's going against the norm of everything she knows.
Yes.
Deadpool, like I said, he got cancer. She was like, okay, we need to fight this cancer together. He becomes a superhero, ugly ass superhero.
Sorry, Ryan.
Yes. I mean, sorry, it was makeup, And then, like I said, at the end of the day, after they fight all this and go through all of this experience, she was like, why didn't you do this with me? Like, still going against that norm. Yeah. Like, anybody who's in that situation, I can tell you, any guy who would have had cancer, become hideously scarred, we would have thought that that woman's not good enough for us anymore. That would have been the normal. But for her, it was against the norm that I still will love you, regardless. And then again, The Mentalist, the last one, like you're saying that his heart wasn't open to love until, like you said, all he could do was solve crimes because really he's focused on, getting back his family's killer. But I'm guessing pretty much probably those first 7 seasons before he kills the killer, like she's probably the only time that he feels, probably throughout those seasons. So she's really pushing him towards like opening up your heart, going against this norm that you have created in your mind. Again, I haven't seen The Mentalist, but I'm just gonna guess from the way Blair described it that's kind of what happened. So to me, for you, it would be fight and let's go against the norm together.
Gotcha.
So
that's
what you
that,
want.
That kind of, I think, perfectly describes my personality. I'm very anti-authority, so.
He is.
Okay. And I think from your examples, what I get is someone bringing a beauty out in you that you didn't see before. And honestly, I think that's what we all want in someone else. We want someone to see us as beautiful for a way that wasn't obvious, right? For a way that no one else saw before. That's when it's really powerful, is they developed you. They brought something else out of you that you didn't even know was there. It's like they know you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Nail on the head right there. Nail on the head. Yeah. You know, so, and again, like I said, we're giving characters from movies and television series and obviously fictionalized characters and stuff like that. So obviously nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to be this at least 100% of the times, but still those qualities do exist. And I'm pretty much going to say that we've seen those qualities in, women that we've dated, and we might maybe have screwed it up. It could have been our fault. I no doubt. Yeah, definitely. Speaking for myself, I know I have messed up a few things, but But so we just, getting to the point, I'm 28, Blair's 27. And, we're getting to the point where we've really become extremely successful in our lives. Not said to brag, but just meaning that, we've done a lot of things, the right way. And, we found a great best friendship through our success. And it's like really the next, scale, the next step, the next level is really finding that significant other who is going to help build upon this success that we've already had. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a question that I'm pretty sure me and Blair both contemplate every single day about, looking for that, significant other who's going to take us to that next level. And it's something that, we're going to always, until we have her, we're going to, keep contemplating that. Now, when we have her, we're going to contemplate a whole new series of problems. And then this podcast will completely change. But for the better. But for the better. So, I think, that's really good for a first podcast. And I think we should probably end this off with, what is something that you didn't know that now you know because you're just this 30 minutes that we've been talking.
Yeah. What did you find within yourself that you didn't know before?
Yeah, you didn't know. So start with you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put you on the spot there.
I didn't know how important fight was to me. But when I said that, I said it twice, right? I said it first time, was the first example, and then the second time. I didn't say it the third time. But, yeah. And I guess subconsciously, I kind of did know that before, but that's something that's really important to me, is having someone that's willing to fight. And I mean, against things, against the world that they know, right? I want to be important enough to someone and for them to love me enough to go against sometimes the things that they know in order for us to connect and to love and to be with each other in the way that we want to be.
Very well put. Very well put. What did I find within myself today? That's a great question. I feel like I think when I thought of my third example, just really as Blair was talking, and then I actually thought of the Rosario Dawson example. I feel like there's something, I went to a deeper place right there to really think about vulnerability. Because who thinks about vulnerability and thinks, oh, that's attractive. I want some of that shit. Nobody's like that. But really, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's the if we have a dish, that's the meat and potatoes. That is the dish. Everything else is just playtime up until that point. And it's just really think about everybody when you start dating somebody, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna put literally my best foot forward. If I'm a guy, I'm gonna be doing all the things that I perceive that you believe that I should be doing.
Or be manly.
Yeah, manly. Oh, you're one of these. You like having doors open? I'm gonna open up the doors. I'm gonna bring flowers. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, I won't do that, but I'll pay for the check and I'll do I'm doing all these things to make you perceive me in a certain way that might not be who I am. Mm-hmm. And then on the opposite end, a lot of times women, they'll try to, act a certain way or be this certain kind of way. Oh, you might not like football, but because I like football, you're trying to fake like you like football. No, just keep not liking football, but just be who you are because, at the end of the day, what's happening is you're trying to be this person that you believe I'm gonna like who you are. Yeah. But at the end of the day, as this relationship progresses and goes on, the people who we tried to be become no more, and the people who are left there are the people who we actually were. And then that's when the vulnerabilities come out. That's when the insecurities come out. That's when all those kind of things, reveal their ugly heads, or at least they're only ugly if we view them as ugly. And we probably view them as ugly because you were scared to give them to us at the beginning. Now, I'm not saying that every single stranger you go on a Tinder date with, you should be like, okay, well, let me give you my baggage, date one. Don't do that.
But Bumble's a different story. You can do that on Bumble.
Don't listen to this guy. It's just, if you're going to step into this dating arena, step in here being who you are. So don't step in being some version that you think is gonna get you what you want, because that's, like I said, it's gonna get what that version of who you are is gonna get with that one. So if you're a guy and I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna put on this disguise of being a gentleman, and I'm not actually a gentleman, I'm going to get that version of the date that the gentleman wanted, but I'm not a gentleman, so I'm not going to get what I actually wanted. And then I'm gonna look up and it's gonna be 3 years later and I'm gonna be depressed because this woman's making my life a living hell. And it's like, no, she's not making it a living hell. You made your own hell.
Yeah.
So, so I found that in myself, I found that. So, all right, let me find the vulnerabilities there, and let me not be afraid to run from them too.
I think that's the most important thing in any relationship, and that's what separates like the friend that you like, hey, how was your weekend? Hey, you're pretty cool. I'd have a beer with you, versus the
I do a podcast with you.
Yeah. So like I can truly connect with you, and I can show you the parts of myself that I'm honestly maybe a little bit more ashamed of, because I know that you're going to feel the same way about me, despite the perceived ugly parts about me that I see, right?
That reminds me of a quote.
Yeah.
There's this one movie, I forget what it was called, but it was like they're at a wedding, and like they're giving it, this like married couple's giving a toast, and they were like, you like someone because, but love someone despite.
Yes.
And I just, again,
yes.
The movie wasn't the best, but that line just stuck with me like no other.
If you didn't know, movies are made around lines. At least that's our theory. Because there are some movies that are god awful, but
they have that one line. If you're watching a movie and you're like, this is terrible, keep watching it and find that one line that the writer was like, this is an idea that I need to do.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And the other thing about vulnerability is, I think in the times in my life where I've really exhibited the most strength and the most character have been when I felt truly myself and was vulnerable about who I was, even in front of people that maybe didn't deserve it. That was when I was truest me. I was B, right?
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, again, I learned more about you, Blair, that with this 8-year friendship, it's just every single time we hang out, it's always like something new, which again, I think that's what a true friendship, a true relationship is supposed to be like. You're never, because we're so deep. Yeah, just as people.
Yeah.
Like, if you meet somebody and you think they're shallow, like, no, there's a depthness in them. You just can't see it because you're not willing to swim.
Ooh.
Yeah. I can turn the phrase. I'm a writer though, so I am a writer. So that definitely does help me.
Be on the lookout for his books.
Yeah. Scripts, man. Scripts are coming. Shameless plug. But yeah, I think that was a pretty successful first episode.
I think
we accomplished what we came to accomplish. You know, so be on the lookout for more of these. Like, subscribe. Tell your friends about it. If you give us comments, give us a brutal honesty. And like I said, we're gonna give you all opinions. So give us all opinions. You hate it, be like, hey, Enoch, you suck. You're trash. I'll take it. I know I'm amazing. So, it's just going to go from one shoulder off the other one. So, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Blair, for, doing this with me, taking this journey, man. Yeah. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I agree. I've already immensely enjoyed this. So thanks for taking the plunge with me.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. So to our audience, it's been a good day and we will talk to you next time.
All right. Take care.